Hi everyone. So today I'm going to do a tutorial on this beautiful card. Okay, it opens out and when it stands up it stands by itself, but this is how it looks when they receive it, and it expands with all these lovely panels. Now the first thing you notice is it's very long. Okay, and you can't do it out of what you might have in your craft stash. So I've devised a way of doing it out of two 6x6 cards. Okay, so I'm going to put that to one side. I've got lots of samples to show you at the end, but we're going to get started. So I have two pieces of A4 card, and they're 15 centimetres or 6 inches deep. Okay. We're going to take a scoreboard and we're going to do a bit of scoring. Now it might seem complicated, but I promise you it's not. So we're going to do both of them exactly the same. There we go. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score at 7.5, 15 and 22.5. 22.5. Now this piece here won't be quite 7.5. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to mark it that is my odd piece. Okay. Put that to one side, bring in the next one, and we're going to score 7.5, 15 and 22.5, and mark this one as my short end. Okay, right, now we're going to come in and on not the short end but this end, we're going to mark down on the back 7.5 centimetres. So I'm just going to put a little dent there, or you can use a pencil there, and you're going to draw a line from this score line here to this line. There we go. And then down to the bottom score line. So we've now done a pointed piece. Now both of these are going to be the same, so I switch my two short panels together, and if you're careful you can cut these together. So I do like getting a clip and I want them to stay exactly where I want them and not slip, so that's just going to hold it for me. Then I can take my scissors and I can cut off that portion. So I'm just cutting just inside the line so that I don't have to rub it out. There we go. Be very careful with this bit. So now I have two pieces. These can come off. Two pieces. These end ones are marked with a cross because that's the shortened piece, and this bit is made into an arrow. Okay, right. Take each one separately, and I'm going to mark this, but you'll soon get used to where you score. I'm going to go from this score line here down to this one here. So I'm going to go right across and it's going to cross in the middle. And then I'm going to score from this point here to this point here, so we have a big cross. So I have these black lines on my scoreboard so that I don't skew off. So there we go, one. Turn it round, line it up, and then I'm going to do my second one. Now they all cross in this centre. Okay, so put that to one side. I'm going from this score line to this one by the point. Make sure they are lined up. There, turn it from this point here down to this one. So take your time over it, and again check that they are all crossing nicely in the middle. Okay. Right, we're now going to take all of these lines here and the ones down, and we're going to fold them and just burnish them. I'm going to put that to one side now. So I want to make sure they fold both ways. So then I do the next diagonal. And you can check when you're doing the diagonals that your points are meeting. Now we're going to do the straight ones. Again, check that your sides are nice and flush. It's easy when you're going across a score line to actually veer off a little bit. So when this one comes in, it should meet the point in the middle. So there I've got all my score lines done, and I'm going to take the next one and do exactly the same. So this one comes in, joins at the centre point there. I can do this next one, make sure the side lines meet. And now we're going for the diagonals. So when you go for the diagonal, make sure these points meet. Turn it round and do my other diagonal. There we go. So you can turn these both ways, and then it makes it much easier when you come to fold the card. Okay, so we have two pieces. Here are my two outside pieces, and we're going to take this one and turn it 180 degrees, and this piece will join onto here. So you can see that these all line up. Okay, so you can do it with wet glue, double-sided, whatever you like doing. Right, so I'm going to place my double-sided tape down the edges. So we're just concentrating on this diamond in the middle. I'm only going to release one of these at the moment, because if it goes down wrong, I want to be able to change it. So place that onto there. When I've got it in the right place, then I will press down. Now I can reach underneath and I can take all the other pieces off, knowing that it's going to go down exactly where I want it. So let's have a look. We've got this diamond piece in the middle, And if I press these straight bits here, that one hasn't been done twice, press those and it will pull in the sides. So then you can lie that flat. Turn it round, and then this straight line here, I push that in and it will fold itself exactly where I want it. So there is our card folded. So let's stand it up and you can reinforce all your folds now. Okay, so there's our basic card mechanism finished. Now, what we need to do now is decorate it. Now, the first one I'll do is just using a printed paper. Okay, and they are 14 centimetres square. So I'm going to take my first one and I'm going to turn it onto the back, and I want to measure the halfway point. So that ruler's got no markings on it. So this is 14 centimetres. So I'm going to measure right on the edge and mark the 7 centimetre mark on all sides, as near to the edge as you can. Okay, now I'm going to draw this with a ruler, but if you're more confident with a knife or a trimmer, by all means go with that. Right, so I'm going to join up now those marks. I had planned this earlier this afternoon, but somebody very near me decided they were going to knock down part of a house wall, so it was rather noisy. So I've now gone from the 4 halfway points and I've now got 4 triangles. I'm going to cut those off. We need all of the bits. One, 2, 3, and the last one, 4. Okay. So let's bring this in, and this piece here is going to be my centre panel in the middle. Okay, there is a gap around it and I've made it that way because we're going to add a mat to it. So I've got some gold here. Now you can, this is 10 centimetres, is it 10 centimetres square? Yes, it's 10 centimetres square. So let's get that off. Right, you could do a 10.5 centimetre mat, but I want to do fancy scissors. And to do that, I need to leave myself a border all the way round that my scissors can hang on to. So here we go. I'm going from the corner and I'm just putting my scissors along the edge of the piece I've got in the middle. So I'm using this piece as a guide to cut my straight line. Turn it round. and that's going to give me the narrow fancy border all the way round, which it will show up in a minute when we fix it on. Okay, so at least with using double-sided tape, I don't have to wait for the glue to dry while I'm demonstrating. So, 3. There's my 4 pieces. It hasn't really got a direction to it, so the leaves are falling in all different directions. Right, okay, now let's have a look at the pieces that we cut off. Now, these are going to fill some of these, but I'll show you at the end they can go in different places. So on this particular one, I'm going to fit these in these portions here on this straight piece. So for that I will use wet glue. So that one's going to go in there. You don't need any mat round it. Just turn them so that they're the right way round. This one. So the one I'm doing here, you'll see, could be any printed paper that you've got. Okay. It's slightly more difficult when you do a picture, but start off playing this way. So there we have that done. Now we're going to come to this one, and this is going to be cut slightly different. And I'm going to use the trimmer to do that. I want to go from this corner to this corner. So lift that up, line it up, and slice it in half. Those will both be exactly the same size. Right. Now I want to stand that way. So I line it up so that the point is where my piece cuts, and now I've got 4. I need 2 big ones, so I'm going to place one big one there and one big one there. Now these 2 here I'm going to cut again in half so that they fill that piece. So, place it on, match the point with the edge of my trimmer, and there are my 4 pieces. So I'm going to fit these on first. Again, you don't need any mat with these that are cut, because they're exactly the right size to fit in the spaces. That one goes in there, and these 4 are going one, 3. Very simple measurements. There we go. There's my last one. It's going to go in there. Right, so let's just test the card folding. Push the straight lines. So all of those you've just done will be hidden until they open the card. Now let's take a look at these. It's just sliding a little bit. Now, this was another 14 centimetre square. So this piece here, we want 6 centimetres the full length. Yes. So we're going to go 6 centimetres. Okay, and that I'm going to put some gold around as well. Okay. I'm going to carry on the fancy scissors. So make it easy on the measuring. So I have macular degeneration, so it's difficult for me to cut something a tiny bit bigger and then get it accurately in place. This way I get a lovely border and I don't have to aim into the centre of a piece of card. Right, I'm leaving myself plenty for the scissors to hang on to. And I'm going to cut down. Always cut on straight past, and then you get a nice neat finish to your corner. So there's one piece. And almost there. So get rid of the rubbish. And these are going to be stuck on the panels. Now, if you remember, these panels were where we put the crosses. So these are slightly smaller panels than all of these. Let's take this one. And it will give you a small white border all the way round. In there. And this one. So the little marks we've put on there, little crosses, are now completely covered up. Okay, so let's fold it up again. Once you've folded it a few times, it will go naturally there. Right, so there is our card. Now we're going to have a look at what we do here. So I've got a piece of white. Now that is 10, but we won't see any of the outer piece. So I'm going to cut that 10, 9, I think 8.5 centimetres. You can be flexible with what you've got. So I'm going to go for 8.5 centimetres, 8.5 centimetres, and I'm going to add another piece of gold all the way round. I'm going back to my fancy scissors. Now, when you think about decorating this panel, the picture you put on needs to be a diagonal picture. It needs to be set as a diamond shape. So we'll have a look at some of the samples in a minute. This one we're going to use stickers, so I can put my patterned piece on there, and it's going to turn so that it is as a diamond shape. If you want to put it on sticky fixers, you can, but remember it's quite a weighty card and you may have to pay extra postage on it because it is quite bulky. Right, if I fold that through now, you can see the bulk here. Okay, so open it out because I want to decorate flat. And I have some woodlandy stickers here. So I've got some ferns. So they seem to have stuck together. I don't think they should be quite like that. I've got green fern here. That's quite a nice one. So they're designed really for scrapbooking, but you can use them to decorate anything. So I'm going to go across there, slightly pointing outwards. Let's see what else I've got. This one is quite a heavy one, so I don't want to use that. I'm going to separate this off. And I'm going to use this one because this is a little bit softer. I'm going to come onto there. Right, now I've got some little fungi. So I've got some bigger mushrooms. You need to decide how much you're going to put on. Obviously leave a space if you want a greeting across there. I think I'm going to come down to the bottom with that. Always be prepared to put your stuff on as a dry run and then see if that's what you wanted to achieve, because you can change your design as you go. So these are difficult to get started sometimes. There we go. And this one I want to fill just to the bottom. There we go. And I'm going to come with perhaps this one. If it won't come up, just go to a different part of the sticker. Right, so here's my other one. I'm going to come down to there. I'm going to bring the other one over to this area here. Right, now I'm going to just take my knife and the bits that overhang, I'm just going to lift up that. There, so it's nice and neat. And this bit where it's just overhanging, just going to take that and just neaten it up a little bit. There we go. So there is my design in the middle, plenty of room for a greeting, and that's how the card will be received and opened up. Right, so let's have a look at some other samples. Here's a pretty one with a little mouse. It's a bit of decoupage that I had left over. Now, this one has got all the same panels right the way through. But this one, I've taken the 4 panels that were stuck to here, and I've put them in opposite corners. Okay, then I've just used a plain blue to pick up the colour, and I did a 14 centimetre panel and cut it so that I had these 6 panels. Okay, these are just plain panels. Right. You can get cards that are all pre-folded for you, but they turn out a bit smaller, and that is how I started off. But I really wanted to make my own version because I do like slightly bigger cards. Okay, so here is a beautiful one. Okay, so this one was based on an 11 centimetre square. Okay, so beautiful one. This one here, I cut up a map and put some panels from the map. This was a picture that actually it all joined together. So this bit here was actually part of this. You can see the bell and the boat. And you can see on this bit, the boat here is just joined onto here. Okay, so another one. This one is perhaps my favourite. Okay, and that one, the panels have gone on, so I've got 2 plain panels coming down, and this was the picture that I cut up. So it was 14 centimetre square picture, and I've divided up each piece and then I've put it back together as a jigsaw. Okay, so this one is the trees that are down the side, so that was another piece of paper that I've cut up. But this I find fascinating because the picture just follows it, and when you close your card, nobody knows it's there, and this forms the big picture. Okay, magic happens when you open it up, like that. Okay, so there is no right and wrong way of putting your triangles on. have a go at all different sorts of things, and even if you use, that's my first one, even if you use just printed pretty papers, it can still make an attractive card, and you can just put anything in the middle that you have in your craft stash. So please have a go and enjoy, and God bless you all.